Hola clase, buenos días. Yo soy Mr. Blake y estoy aquí para explicar nuestro examen medio. So hello class, this is Mr. Blake. I am here today to explain our midterm exam. Para empezar, vamos a ir a classwork. Y aquí a nuestro tópico se llama midterm. So first we're going to go to classwork and then go down to our midterm. Here, there are multiple resources for us. Aquí son muchos recursos por nosotros para tocar este examen. Vamos a empezar aquí con nuestro midterm schedule. So we are going to start here with our midterm schedule. En esta carta, tú puedes ver esta carta a sus padres, a su familia, y el horario por este examen medio. So here you can see the letter that was sent out to your families and our schedule for our midterms. Por favor, asegura que tú estás llegando a su clase durante el tiempo para tocar este examen. So please make sure you are going to your classes during the period to take your exam. Now we are going to move on to our second resource, which is our midterm presentation. Ahorita vamos a continuar a nuestro segundo recurso, se llama midterm presentation. Please, please, please make sure you complete and read this presentation before you move on to midterm 1 and midterm 2. Por favor, asegurar que tú estás completando y leyendo esta presentación y tú estás terminando con mirando este video antes de seguir a nuestro exámenes aquí. So we are going to get started with our midterm presentation. So, ESOL 2 midterm, January 2021. ESOL 2 midterm, January 2021. Midterm vocabulary. Please review the vocabulary words. Por favor, reseña las palabras de vocabulario. Por favor, sigue cuando yo estoy leyendo. So please follow along while I am reading. Belief. Noun. A belief is an idea that you think is true. People sometimes fight for their beliefs. Experience. Noun. An experience is something that you did or saw. These young women enjoy their experiences as volunteers. Popular. Adjective. When something is popular, many people like it. Soccer is popular. Religion. Noun. Religion is a set of strong ideas about a god or gods. Christianity, Judaism, and Islam are religions. Truth. Noun. Something that is a fact is the truth. People must tell the truth in court. Uncomfortable. Uncomfortable means not feeling easy. This new driver is uncomfortable. Forget. When you forget something, you cannot think of it. He forgets how to solve the math problem. Sport. Noun. A sport is a game, such as baseball or basketball. Baseball is my favorite sport. A mí, no. Basketball is my favorite sport. Directions. Please complete the flashcards and the test for these vocabulary words. Instrucciones. Por favor, completa las fichas y la prueba por estas palabras de vocabulario. Aquí está el enlace. Por favor, copiarlo. Pégalo aquí. Primero empieza con fichas. So start with your flashcards. Mi recomendaciones para escuchar el audio a cada palabra y definición para practicar con pronunciación. Hay 8 palabras. Asegura que tú estás terminando y continuando entre todas las palabras, enseñando la palabra de vocabulario y su definición. Cuando estás terminando con esto, haga clic aquí en back. So when you are done with your flashcards, click back and then move on to test. Y después seguir a test. Tú vas a tocar una prueba con las palabras. Aquí tú vas a teclar la respuesta. A belief is an idea you think is true. People sometimes fight for their beliefs. Este belief. Forget. When you forget something, you cannot think of it. He forgets how to solve the math problem. This is multiple choice. An experience is something that you did or saw. The young woman enjoyed their experiences as volunteers. That word is experience. Make sure when you're done, you press check answers. Asegura cuando estás terminando con todas las preguntas, haga clic, check answers. Por favor, hace todo su Quizlet antes de seguimos con la lectura. So make sure you're done with your Quizlet before you continue. Ahorita vamos a continuar. So now we are going to continue. Now we're going to start by reading to build background. Please follow along while Mr. Blake reads. Por favor, sígalo cuando yo estoy leyendo. People around the world wear different clothes. In many parts of the world, people wear clothes that are not common in the United States. In some Muslim countries, people wear clothes that cover the whole body. Some Sikh men and some Jews wear head coverings. They do this because of their religion or their beliefs. Behind the veil is an essay about what the author learned from Nadia, a Muslim girl. Nadia wants to follow her beliefs, even if looking different can be uncomfortable. Bueno, so now vamos a hablar sobre what do you think the main idea of this story will be? What do you think the main idea of this story will be? Sabemos que podemos encontrar la idea principal con leyendo un párrafo y mirando las palabras que pensamos son importantes, frases que pensamos son importantes, títulos. Entonces aquí yo puedo ver 3 palabras. Religion, beliefs, uncomfortable. Este no es todo una idea principal, pero este es muy bien empieza en background. So this is not our whole main idea, but it's a good place to start with our background. Background. So now we are going to continue to our story. Ahorita vamos a continuar la historia. Otra vez, por favor, sigue cuando yo estoy leyendo. So again, please just follow along while I am reading. Behind the Veil by Philip Devitt. Behind the Veil by Philip Devitt. Our first question is, what is the title of the story? What is the title of the story? The title of the story is Behind the Veil. Who is the author of the story? We know the author of the story is Philip Devitt. Directions. Please follow along as Mr. Blake reads the paragraph. Our first read. Primera vez que estamos leyendo. I will never forget the week I spent in Washington, D.C. I was part of the presidential classroom. It's a program for high school students. It teaches about the government. The experience changed how I see the world. But what I remember most was not about government. It was the night I saw myself through the eyes of a quiet Muslim girl. It was our last night. We sat in a small room. We had been there many times. But this time was different. We were there to say goodbye. Reading guide. Nuestro guía de leyendo. Where are they in the story? Where are they in the story? ¿Dónde están en la historia? Para encontrar dónde están en la historia, puedes encontrar una frase, palabras que está hablando sobre de una locación, un lugar. Entonces, yo veo la primera frase, I spent the week I spent in Washington, D.C. Entonces, sabemos que la respuesta es Washington, D.C. Where are they in the story? Washington, D.C. Directions. Again, please follow along as Mr. Blake reads the paragraph. Por favor, sigue cuando Mr. Blake está leyendo el párrafo. Nadia wore black clothes. Her face, arms, and legs were covered. She seemed afraid to join the group. I could not understand why. We had all tried to make her feel welcome, many times throughout the week. Sometimes she seemed depressed. We tried to make her laugh. Other times she seemed lonely. We tried to start conversations with her. She rarely lifted her head to look at us. When she did, we saw her sad eyes. They seemed full of emotion. It was waiting to pour out. Reading guide. What religion does Nadia practice? What religion does Nadia practice? ¿Qué pensamos sobre este? ¿Qué religión practica Nadia? Por esta pregunta necesitamos regresar a la otra página. For this question, we have to return to our last page. It was the night I saw myself through the eyes of a quiet Muslim girl. It was the night I saw myself through the eyes of a quiet Muslim girl. So what religion does Nadia practice? Nadia is Muslim. Or Nadia practices Islam. Our next question. How does Nadia feel? ¿Cómo siente Nadia? How does Nadia feel? We are going to return to the text. Vamos a regresar al texto. We had all tried to make her feel welcome many times throughout the week. Sometimes she seemed depressed. We tried to make her laugh. Other times she seemed lonely. We tried to start conversations with her. She rarely lifted her head to look at us. When she did, we saw her sad eyes. How does Nadia feel? Does she feel happy or sad? To me, I see words like depressed and sad, which tell me how Nadia feels. Directions. Please follow along as Mr. Blake reads the paragraph. When everyone finished speaking, Nadia slowly rose from the corner. She walked to the middle of the room. This has been a memorable week, she said, but it has also been one of my most uncomfortable. All of you have been wonderful to me, she said, but I realize that some of you are afraid of me and my beliefs. I understand. You only know the Islam that you hear about in the media. You don't know the truth about our religion. Reading guide. Why was the week uncomfortable for Nadia? ¿Por qué pensamos la semana era incómodo por ella? Aquí yo voy a leer otra vez. But I realize that some of you are afraid of me and my beliefs. But I realize that some of you are afraid of me and my beliefs. I understand. You only know the Islam that you hear about in the media. You don't know the truth of our religion. Nadia feels uncomfortable because the other kids are afraid of her for her beliefs. She is different. What she said was true. We knew about the beliefs of Islamic terrorists, but we knew nothing about the beliefs of nonviolent Muslims. I didn't know anything about her religion. The truth is that I am just like all of you. I like the same music. I like the same television shows. A single tear slid down her cheek. When you laugh at something, so do I. And when you cry, I do too. Reading guide. Why was Nadia different from the other kids? Why was Nadia different from the other kids? She was different from the other kids because of her beliefs and her religion. Because of her religion and her beliefs. Religion, beliefs. Nadia's words were simple. They meant so much to me. Her clothing and religion did not define her. She was a teenager growing up in America, just like me. Muy bien hecho. Ya estamos terminando con la primera parte de nuestro examen, la lectura. Ahorita hay dos exámenes que necesitamos terminar. So great job. We just finished the first part of our exam, which was our lesson. Now we have to finish two parts of an exam. So there are two parts of your midterm you need to complete. Midterm 1, and the link is right here. Midterm 2, and the link is right here. El enlace está ahí, el enlace está ahí. También recordamos, los enlaces, midterm 1 está aquí, midterm 2 está aquí. Midterm 1, directions. Please use the link to complete the vocab practice. For this assignment, you will be writing the answer. You need to write the answer perfectly to be marked correct. We will use the vocabulary words on the next page to complete the assignment. Utilice el enlace para completar la práctica de vocabulario. Para esta tarea, escribirás la respuesta. Debe escribir la respuesta perfectamente para que se marque como correcta. Usaremos las palabras de vocabulario de la página siguiente para completar la tarea. Otra vez, este es el enlace que puedes usar para ir a este examen. También es en la otra página. So, now I open midterm 1. I start by writing my name, Mr. Blake, my ESOL class period. So question number 1. Necesitamos usar esta página aquí para ayudarte en haciendo esta parte del examen. You need to use this picture to help you with this part of your exam. Porque aquí son las dos respuestas, dos opciones que puedes usar. Because here are the two options that you can use. We're going to do number one together. My cousin Faisal is Muslim. He says he'll never truth or forget. He says he'll never the time he spent at school in New York. Sabemos la respuesta. He says he'll never forget the time he spent at school in New York. Aquí vamos a escribir forget. Esta respuesta es incorrecta. Esta respuesta incorrecta. Necesitamos escribir la palabra perfectamente para recibir los puntos. Por favor, usa este para completar estas preguntas aquí. También vamos a continuar a otras preguntas sobre la historia. Ya reseñamos todo de estas preguntas cuando estábamos leyendo anterior en el video. So we've already finished and talked about each of these questions when we were reading our story together. Now we will continue to part 2. Ahorita vamos a continuar a parte 2. Otra vez, para encontrar este formulario, sigue el enlace que está allí, Midterm 2. Directions. For Midterm 2, you will complete a writing response. Use the guide on the next pages to help you write your response. Instrucciones. Para el segundo examen, completará una respuesta por escrito. Utilice la guía de las páginas siguientes para ayudarle a escribir su respuesta. This is the guide we are going to use to help us write our paragraph. Esta es la guía de escribiendo que vamos a usar para escribir nuestro párrafo. Recuerde este de mi clase es races. R and A es la primera frase cuando estamos reescribiendo y respondiendo a la pregunta. C es para citar evidencia. E es para explicar esta evidencia. S es para resumen este párrafo. Vamos a tocarlo parte, poco a poco. Vamos a completar este párrafo. So we're going to complete this paragraph little by little by little. The first thing we're going to do is, disculpe, necesitamos tener la pregunta. So sorry, we need to see the question. So our question what are things that make us different? What are things that make us the same? What are things that make us different? What are things that make us the same? ¿Qué son las cosas que hacennos diferente y qué son las cosas que hacennos la misma? So first, we are going to restate and answer the question. Reescribir y responder a la pregunta. Usa este frame para empezar tu respuesta. So use this frame to start your answer. So what are some things that make us different? ¿Qué son cosas que hacen los diferentes? Aquí puedes usar nuestro word wall para ayudarte con vocabulario. So things that make us different are, things that make us the same are. Mi recomendación, empieza tu respuesta aquí. So puedes escribir things that make us the same are, por ejemplo, culture. Things that make us different are Recordamos, estamos usando periodo y mayúsculas en nuestras frases. So that's our first sentence. Esta es nuestra primera frase. Tan fácil. So that's our first question. Really easy. Our next part, nuestra siguiente parte. Cite evidence. Citar evidencia. Find an example in the text of what made Nadia the same and different. Encontrar ejemplo en el texto que explica por qué Nadia era diferente o la misma de los otros estudiantes. Aquí hay algunos ejemplos que podemos usar. Voy a hacerlo más grande. Este es de el texto. So this is from the text. All of you have been wonderful to me, she said, but I realize that some of you are afraid of me and my beliefs. I understand. The truth is that I am just like all of you. I like the same music. I like the same television shows. A single tear slid down her cheek. When you laugh at something, so do I. And when you cry, I do too. Aquí, otra vez our question. What makes Nadia the same? What makes her different? So esta es la cosa que estamos prestando atención en esta parte. Vamos a hacer dos categorías. The same. ¿En cuál categorías Nadia es la misma? So in what areas, in what categories is Nadia the same? We see here, I like the same music. So one way she is the same is music. She likes the same television shows. Likes the same television shows. Here, likes the same music. How is she different? How is she different? We know she's different because of her beliefs and religion. So she is different because of her beliefs and religion. Voy a poner este aquí para recordarlos. What makes Nadia the same? ¿Por qué Nadia es la misma? And what makes her different? So aquí vamos a empezar nuestra evidencia con este frama. In the text it says, en el texto dice, Nadia is the same because in the text it says Nadia is the same because in the text it says Nadia is different because. And we can use the same, different. That's what we use for C. Again, we write that here. In the text, it says Nadia is the same because. Remember, two sentences. Recuerde, dos frases. Este es tu responsabilidad. So this one is your responsibility. Explica evidencia. Explica qué dice eso. This shows que muestra estos ejemplos en texto. Muestra que nadie es la misma de los otros estudiantes. Nadie es diferente. Toda la gente en el mundo que son el mismo. Es tu frase, tú puedes elegir. So in this one is your responsibility. Does this evidence show that everyone is the same? Everyone is different? That Nadia is actually quite similar to the other students? It's up to you. Your job is to explain that evidence. Aquí vamos a resumir nuestro párrafo en total. So, tienes opciones. Puedes copiar directamente su respuesta de el inicio en R and A, los dos frases, o puedes hacer una nueva frase. Por ejemplo, tú puedes escribir por un resumen, people are all alike and different. Gente son toda la misma y diferente. ¿Cuál quiere? Porque es su párrafo. Cuando estás terminando con necesitas hacer clic en submit. So when you're all done with your paragraph, make sure you press submit. When you're all done with this midterm 1, make sure you press submit. Cuando estás terminando con todo este examen, asegura que tú estás marcando submit. Ojalá que puede usar para ayudarte en este examen. Si tienes preguntas, siempre está aquí. Una vez más, voy a mostrar el horario por los exámenes aquí. Puedes sacar una foto de eso. Y si tienes preguntas, siempre estoy aquí. So, one more time, I'll show you our letter and schedule for our midterms. Make sure you're going to class during these times to take your midterms. Thank you for staying with me on this whole video. I know it was a little long, so thank you so much. If you have any questions, please let Mr. Blake know. So thank you so much, and good luck on your test.